Well, today we're going to do something a little bit different. I managed to pick up this watch online, relatively cheap, from Aliexpress. Not Alibaba, but Aliexpress. And some watch guys are going to know immediately this is not a real Rolex. But there's a funny story behind it, and I will get to that. What happened was I was looking for one of these watches, and I was trying to find an homage version. I was trying to find a less expensive sterile version of the same watch design. And what I came across was an ad on AliExpress. I've never used it before, but I went on there and did a search for Rolex Milgauss. And I was hoping that I would find something that would be relatively similar to the actual Rolex. I wasn't planning on finding one of them, considering that this is probably now a $7,000 or $8,000 watch. I wasn't expecting to find the real thing, but I was looking for a copy or a sterile version that would do the same thing, essentially. I was not originally looking for a blatant Rolex copy. I was not looking for a ripoff. The person that is selling these is actually posting them and taking all of the name branding and the logos actually off of the pictures. He's editing them so that they look as if they were just a sterile version. So in the ad, he would remove the Rolex crown and all of the Rolex stampings and markings. It was just a plain black face, which was what I was originally looking for. I wasn't looking for a blatant Rolex copy. I was looking for something in the same style with the lightning bolt secondhand. But this is what I ended up getting. I should have known whenever I actually ordered it. I should have been able to look at it and seen the pictures and realized that they had probably been photoshopped. But all in all, this was a $38 watch, and so I don't really regret it that much. But more importantly, did it come in the condition that you would expect? Well, yes and no. Whenever I got it, I immediately noticed that there was a couple of things with it that weren't kosher. The first thing was that the bracelet actually has like micro scratches all over it. I think the camera can kind of pick it up there. It had scratches in places that it should have been protected. There was plastic. There was a protective wrapping on it. I did not get a box. I didn't get anything like that. It was shipped Chinese, mail. But the first thing that I noticed was that the band actually on some of the more polished parts, you can see that there's scratches all over it. There were scratches on this part, the crown or the bezel. I don't know what it's called. But there were scratches on this part too that I can't get off, but I kind of halfway expected, that the protection would be better with it being all wrapped up. I thought that it would be better wrapped up, but the actual sapphire or whatever this is, the fake sapphire, the green, it had swirl marks in it. There were swirls all over it. The other common thing that I've seen is that the second hand sometimes will jump on some of the copy versions, which on mine it seems to be actually doing relatively okay. I mean, it might jump a little bit, but it's not that bad. Aside from the scratches and the swirl marks, which I was able to actually buff off. I was actually able to buff it with a microfiber towel. On the actual face here, though, the 6 marker at the bottom here is blemished. There's actually a small blemish in there. Whether that's paint or something else, I don't know. It's certainly not supposed to be that way. And then the other thing that I noticed after close inspection, if you can see on the minute hand, I don't know if it'll focus, but there's actually extra paint all over what is now the right side of it. There's extra white marking paint all the way down the hand, and then it collected at the very end there. You can see white at the end. So there are noticeable defects there are noticeable things with it. If you look closely, you know, it's not all it's supposed to be. Am I overall happy with what it looks like? Yeah. I mean, it's nice. But it's a copy. I mean, this is a blatant copy. It's not an homage. It's not a sterile piece. It's not, I mean, it's a blatant copy. It is an automatic, it does have an automatic movement in there to try to keep up with it, but you have to wind it. And in my time wearing it, I've already started to notice that it keeps time relatively well, you know, down to a minute or two. But if you don't wear it every day, it's going to go and stop, and you have to rewind it. And the automatic movement in there is cheap Chinese. It's garbage, so it doesn't really hold time. You have to constantly wind it when you're wearing it, probably every day or so, I would imagine. So in other words, it's a everyday timepiece. I can't really say. I noticed that in the every other day or every 2 days, whenever I wear it, if I'm wearing something appropriate with it, I will wear it, and I have to set the time. So it's kind of a bummer. I wish that it was, I could care less about what it looked like if it actually held time better. If it held the time better, that would be fantastic. Now, I did take pictures. I did document what it looked like when I got it. I did contact the seller since it was my first time on Aliexpress, and I had told him that the ad is not what it's supposed to be. He essentially had posted pictures of a sterile version, and I got a blatant copy. It says Rolex all over it. It's got Rolex on the band here, which you can tell that's definitely not. You can tell it's not a Rolex. But I messaged him and said, look, I've got all these problems. It had scratches on it, the bezel, everything that I mentioned. And he was able to communicate with me enough to understand that a partial refund would be in order. I had asked for a $20 refund because I figure I'd pay $18 for this. It's a blatant copy. And he agreed, and he actually sent me a $25 refund. So for, you know, whatever I ended up paying, which was 35, so 30, so like $13, 13 or $14 with free shipping. It's not bad. Am I going to recommend buying blatant copies of these watches online? No. I am not a watch collector. As you can see, my daily wear is a Vivo Fit 2, so it's not exactly tactical, but it's definitely good for monitoring what's going on, and it does everything I need it to. But this is not what I would recommend. The quality of this watch is definitely less than what I had expected. It looks good, but it doesn't perform. So all the new guys that are getting into nice collectible watches, save your money for something. Get a Seiko. Get anything, even a quartz movement, you know, any kind of watch that's going to hold time better is going to be better than this. I don't recommend ordering from Aliexpress unless you are prepared to deal with the things that I'm talking about. I am an avid eBay user, so for me, I was able to deal with it relatively well. For the $13, it's probably okay, but it took, you know, 2 or 3 weeks to get here. So save your money up, get something that's going to be a functioning daily dress watch. Get a Citizen, get something that's going to be nicer. That's the best thing that I can tell you. For $13, not bad. Would I recommend it? No. Hopefully this will help some of you guys. Definitely check out my page, check out my other videos, and subscribe. And if you guys have any questions or comments down below, I'll be glad to answer them. Thanks, and I'll see you guys soon.